Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about how ignoring your reality actually causes you to perpetuate that reality and actually prevents you from manifesting anything new. In the manifestation community, there's this very popular idea of people ignoring their reality, and this is promoted a lot. People are told to ignore their reality to create something new, and I personally think that this is extremely bad for various reasons. The first reason why I think it is a bad idea to ignore your reality when you want to create something new is because when we intentionally decide to ignore something, it actually has the opposite effect, okay? When you choose to ignore something, you are actually giving more energy to it and more focus to it than you would be if you just accepted that thing, allowed yourself to feel it fully and listen to it. It's very difficult for us to move past something if we are refusing to even acknowledge it, okay? So when you decide to ignore something, you're actually giving more attention to it, okay? It's like if you're ignoring something, if you are intentionally ignoring something, it implies there is something there you do not want to look at, and you are actively trying not to look at it, okay? So this creates a continuous state of tension. You are continually resisting something. It's like if I put something over there, if I put a chair in the corner of the room and I tell myself I decide to ignore it, I have to make a continuous effort to ignore that chair, which means my focus is on that chair, okay? So with this idea of ignore things to manifest something new, it very often has the exact opposite effect. Until you allow yourself to fully feel something, your energy cannot shift from it. If something in your life has a lot of emotional significance to it, you are not going to be able to shift your energy from it until you allow yourself to fully feel it. And the only way we can allow ourselves to fully feel something is by directly acknowledging it. It's like with any kind of pain, any kind of suffering, things that hurt us that we don't want to look at, when we don't process those things in the moment, it does not leave us. It stays with us. When a human being experiences trauma and it's not dealt with in the moment or shortly after, it's not processed and felt, it stays with us. It does not go anywhere. So by ignoring that thing, you are not shifting your energy from it. And by actually allowing yourself to focus on that thing, you are in fact allowing your energy to finally shift. You are also allowing yourself to take the lessons that that thing is offering you. In the reality you are trying to ignore, there are lessons for you. Lessons that will actually help your character, help you grow as a being so that you can actually manifest the things you want and actually become somebody who is genuinely in alignment with those things. But in order to become in alignment with those things, you actually have to go through that growth as a person, and facing your reality and taking those lessons is offering you that growth. You know, it's also connected like that. And then another reason why it is bad to ignore your reality is because when we ignore our current reality, we fail to have the experiences that allow us to actually determine how we got here and therefore how we can get somewhere else. If you do not like your reality, you cannot figure out how to change your results unless you look at how you created your current results. Okay, so by thinking you can create a new life by ignoring your current one, you are actually failing to gain the wisdom, to learn the knowledge that would actually help you change your life. So it's very counterproductive. But I think this kind of mentality, this practice of ignoring your reality to create a new one is so popular in the spiritual community because it's almost become like a crutch for people who want, it's escapism. It's become a crutch for people who just want to escape. But it's very counterproductive. It may be painful in the moment to look at things, but if you don't look at things in the moment, you will perpetuate that reality and perpetuate your pain, therefore. Okay? So you're not actually helping yourself in the long run. I don't believe we manifest something new by ignoring what's already here. I don't believe that. I believe that's very toxic. And I believe it prevents us from growing as human beings. And when we grow and change, our life grows and changes. Our life's responding to us. So if we've got lessons that are in front of us that are here, obviously because we need them, and we're ignoring them because we don't want to face it and go through it, you're not growing and changing as a person. And so your life is going to be very stuck because you are very stuck. So you are going to perpetuate that situation that you're refusing to look at for as long as you are refusing to look at it. I was helping this woman who wanted to manifest being with her soulmate, and she kept saying to me that, like, she just has this belief that it will just happen when it's meant to. And that's fine and everything. But I quickly determined that she was actually, when she would go out with her friends and whatnot, and men would like smile at her and they'd try to get some kind of connection with her, you know, make eye contact, try and see if there's a connection there, any reciprocity, so that they could conversate and see if there's a connection. Every single one of them, she was just ignoring. And I was like, okay, why are you doing that? And she said, because I believe it will just happen when it's meant to. And I said, but like, the universe is literally bringing people to you you could connect with, and one of them could potentially be somebody you could have a connection with, and you're putting a wall up to all of them. And so I had to get her, like, in order to get through this, she had to look at the reality. The reality was not that her partner was not there and that it will just happen whenever it's meant to. The reality was people were coming to her and she was pushing them away unconsciously. And so in order to get to a place where she could be in a connection with somebody, she had to recognize that and change that. She had to stop putting a wall up to people. And the only way she could do that is by looking at her current reality. By living in a fantasy land, saying it's just going to happen, she was keeping herself from the wisdom, the guidelines that actually told her how to get the thing she wanted. So when I explained this to her and she started facing her reality and said, okay, you know what? I am putting a wall up to people. I am ignoring people. When we acknowledged this, she actually started to be more open and allow the universe to bring to her the thing she had asked for. And very quickly, she ended up in a very healthy, happy connection with somebody. But in order to get there, she had to look at her current reality and she had to acknowledge the truth that told her how to get where she wanted to go. You're refusing to literally look at the guidelines that could tell you how to get a different result. In order to move forward in life, in order to change things, we have to be able to look at something and say, I don't like this. How do I change this? And the only way we can do that is by looking at it and saying, how did I get here? And when we say, how did I get here? And we dissect that, that is literally the thing that tells us how to get somewhere else. For example, many people are unconsciously pushing away love, and many of those people are just pretending it's not happening, and they're just pretending that, you know, they're just closing their eyes to their reality where they're physically alone, and they're just pretending it's not happening and living in this fantasy land of, I am with the person I want to be with, I have people around me. And if they actually looked at their reality and they looked at, the reality where they are alone, and they said, why am I alone? They may discover the reason they are alone is because they have trauma within them that is causing them to actively push people away. They cannot gain that wisdom about their circumstances that would allow them to move forward unless they directly look at things. As another example from my own life, when I was much younger and I was very dissatisfied with my life, and for a long time when I was very young, I wouldn't look at it, I wouldn't look at the reality, because at that time it was really too painful for me. So I would just kind of pretend and live in this fantasy land. And then when I got to the end of my rope and I finally just looked at things, I saw the reasons why my life was not changing. I saw the things I could change to make my life change. And then I did those things and my life changed. But I could not gain that wisdom. I could not receive those guidelines to change my life until I looked at my life. I think in life we need a balance of being able to see the life we want to create, but also being able to look at the life we're currently in. Because if you're too focused on just the 3D and just what's in front of you, you become obviously very short-sighted and perhaps even unmotivated because you're not seeing anything you want to achieve. But also on the flip side, if we're too immersed in the 5D and we're too immersed in that other life and the things we want to create, we fail to gain the wisdom our current reality is offering us that could actually give us the guidelines of how to get to a different life. What is directly in front of you is offering you insight into what is within you and how you can get to where you want to go. Because we cannot change our life, we cannot achieve something new unless we've acknowledged how we've actually got here. You cannot change your results unless you're acknowledging how you got the current results you've got. Looking at your reality can give you many insights into what is going on within you and perhaps what blockages you have. Because if you're looking at your reality and you're seeing certain areas of your life that are stuck, that's telling you you have some sort of blockage within you surrounding that thing. So when we actually look at the cold, hard reality, we get this wisdom that tells us, okay, this is a part of myself I need to work on. This is a part of myself I clearly need to heal and grow. And then by doing that, we become in alignment with something else. But if you ignore the current reality, you ignore that wisdom it's offering you, and therefore you fail to take those lessons and you fail to grow, heal, and change as a person. And because you fail to change, your reality will not change. That is why ignoring your reality to create something new is extremely counterproductive. And it's a sure way to perpetuate the current reality you are living. You cannot receive this wisdom if you are refusing to look at anything that is not exactly how you want it to be. When you choose to ignore something, understand you are not taking your energy away from it. This is a misconception that many people in the manifestation community have made. Your attention is not leaving something if you are intentionally choosing to ignore it. If I put that chair in the corner of my room and I tell myself to ignore it, I am then going to have to make a continuous effort to not look at that chair. So I am directly telling the universe, the energy, that there is something there I do not want to look at, okay? So do not make the mistake of thinking you are removing attention, energy, and focus away from something you choose to ignore. You are in fact giving it more energy that will perpetuate it. And secondly, by doing this, you are failing to receive the guidelines that could actually show you how to create something different. So by ignoring your current reality, you will prevent yourself from creating a new reality. I completely relate to not wanting to look at your reality because it's painful, because I was there when I was younger. But you have to understand that by ignoring your pain, you are not making it go away. You are in fact perpetuating it, because nothing goes anywhere until we have fully felt it and allowed it to move through us. We have to go through that experience. And once we allow ourselves to go through that experience, we then experience a settling, a release of tension surrounding that thing. And that is when you are able to genuinely move forward and make genuine changes with the wisdom you have gained by looking at that reality. Moving forward without the tension of trying to push away and ignore something you know is there. I really hope this video has helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.